How are you, buddy?
Good, man. Just like I said. For the most part, I'm still looking into some classes stuff, trying to figure out um if I can get some information on one of the classes that I'm trying to take because it just says to be announced, but there's no days. Like people have been registering for the class, but they don't even know when the days are, like what days they're gonna be, and I can't just pick up
At a
any
heartbeat.
days. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I have work also. So today I'm supposed to email the teacher and see if they can provide some information as to when the classes, like what days the class will be, or at least a time. That
Mm.
way I can know. But other than that, just taking each day in strides. I've been playing a lot of Destiny. Um, just
Have you not
grinding.
played any of Tsushima?
No, I've been grinding Destiny heavily because
Uh,
we're trying to get to a point where the whole crew can do raids,
mm-hmm.
and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm at an adequate level for that to be done because I tend to do a lot better than everyone else. So the higher my light level, the better it is for everyone else, is how I'm thinking anyway. I mean, of course, they're still going to have to do their part because it is a raid, but the higher my light level, the less stress I have to go through as far as what my role ends up being, whatever that may be.
And light level is like not the real level. It's like the level you get.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
really know Destiny. I'm not gonna
so
lie.
the light level is pretty much like your power level. Like your boss or your opponent right now is level 65. That would be the light level.
Mm-hmm.
But the light level constantly changes just like any other game based off of armor and weapons that you acquire. So it's a constant, it's just like constantly progressing through the game. It's the same type of grind that you would do on here, where if you want your level to go up, you gotta just put in the time more so than um, one gear, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is your maximum gear from then on. It's just kind of like you just have to put in the time to continue getting that gear. But yeah, I've been grinding. I think they said the current maximum power is like 1070, and I
Nice.
just hit 1030 yesterday. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
Oh, okay. Um. Well, I don't really know a lot about Destiny.
I
I
mean,
I don't really know a lot about the other games that go into the whole like games as a service thing, except probably like I know Anthem. That's all I got.
yeah. I hear Anthem's got something coming up. Is that true? Is Anthem
Um,
doing something soon?
yeah,
Or
I don't know if it's soon, but they did
gotcha.
put a post out talking
Okay.
about stuff they're doing. So everyone's pretty excited. I don't. Not everyone's excited. Um, let's
Gotcha.
not lie. Um, well, as a lot of people do know, Anthem went through a pretty
An
bad
ordeal.
state
Yeah,
when it
definitely
first
went
released.
through an ordeal.
Yeah, so that was the thing, and they've constantly been trying to change things to make it better.
Mm.
But I mean, I don't know. For me, that post they put out was pretty, I guess, encouraging for me because it's like they legit just acknowledge like, yeah, we messed up. We messed up real bad,
Gotcha.
and like that's always something good to be like. It's good when people can admit that they've messed up. Now it's
Yeah.
another thing for them to then go and take that mess up and actually improve.
Uh-huh.
And that's what everyone's
is-
kind of waiting for, to see if they'll actually improve or not.
That is true. But
Um,
I really wanted Anthem to be good to a point
Me
where I
too.
guess
Because that was one of the things we talked about.
I really wanted to enjoy Anthem as a game.
Because it has the things that you would want. It has the things I want.
Exactly.
It's third person. You get to basically play as your own Iron Man suit.
Yep.
And it's made by BioWare, and they generally are good with their RPGs. So I was like, yeah, this is all I need. Turned out it wasn't. But no, they did talk about the stuff they're changing, and the big thing for them is focusing on loot.
Okay.
So they did, like, there's a list of things they actually talked about in there. I'd have to actually pull it up and see. So give me a second for that. I can auto attack this thing to death for a second. I'm gonna miss that cue though. No. And done. All right, great. Okay. One down. So yeah, they put out an update, I want to say like last week. And they were basically just talking about like, hey guys, this is all that we've got to say, and if I can get to it without running into a wall like a fool. There's the next one. Target that one. Yeah, their whole thing was like, loot and equipment goals was the name of it. And they were just talking about like, okay, we know our equipment's messed up. And a lot of people are not satisfied with how the getting it actually is going. Okay. Granted, they've made improvements to make it a little bit better. But like,
so is this just going to add on to those improvements?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Along with it, probably redoing some of the system as well. So they do want loot to be satisfying, which a lot of people will tell you it's not. Even I'll play it, and I'll get on like Tuesdays and Thursdays because that's when the stuff updates for the shop. And I'll be just destroying a bunch of like actual legendary gear because it's just not good enough for what I want.
Got you.
And
that's the kind of the similar thing with Destiny too. It's like you're just constantly destroying gear that you get because it just doesn't work for what you need it to do, or for what you need to do.
Yes, because there's certain stats to gear that you would rather it have than what it gets right now.
Exactly.
And that's what happens with Anthem. Now here's the part that got me super excited. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I had made a video about like Anthem had like let's fix Anthem a little bit, and it was pertaining to the loot. Okay. And like my idea for it was like, okay, so the problem I know that everyone has with loot is it doesn't matter how much loot you get, like the whole like, oh man, I got this legendary or whatever. You're disappointed the moment you look at the stats. Regardless of what the loot is, you're just going to be disappointed the stats aren't what you want.
Exactly.
So in order to fix that, instead of changing the fact that you keep on getting loot, you change how you actually deal with the stats. And like, and my example for that was Splatoon 2, because for Splatoon 2, all your gear gets different stats once they level up. So like, if I'm wearing a pair of shoes, the more I use it, the better it levels up, and then it actually pops different stats on it. That'll be randomized.
Okay.
And if you don't like those stats, you can actually take those off using an in-game kind of currency.
Okay.
And then those stats will be turned into, I want to say, we'll just call it bits.
Okay.
And those bits contain the properties of whatever stat you destroyed. And if you collect enough of those bits, you can then just attach those stats to something else.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so you're still...
so Destiny has something kind of similar, I guess you can say, to what you're presenting. So in our game, our armor sets, we can put on modifications that boost certain skills like mobility or special move charge rates, grenade recharge rate type stuff. So that's a system that we have in Destiny. The grind for it, however, is still very tedious because you have to upgrade the armor to like maximum level to get the maximum stats out of it. But then you also have to pick and choose which mods would like on the armor set. So let's say if I wanted a faster supercharge rate, I think the armor maxes out at a level of 10. But to put on the supercharge rate mod, it costs 5 out of that 10, limiting the amount of other things that I can put on. I mean, of course, we don't want to be unbalanced, but just for that special mod, it
But you do
cost me
though.
5. I mean, yeah, of
You
course. Not
like
every
you
player
guys
wants to be overpowered.
probably
in,
less
in
for you
its
guys because
fight.
you do have PvP. We don't for
Yeah,
Anthem.
yeah. So for you guys, it makes more sense. Like, yes, please let me be overpowered. This is what the grind should be about. But as
Yeah.
far as PvP is concerned, no, we want it to be balanced. Which I feel that's where Destiny lacks, because all of their patches are universal. So for PvE and PvP, the balancing is the same. So if you make a really good PvE thing, you made a really good PvP thing, and that's been a really big issue for them as far as balancing is concerned, because they get so many complaints left and right field about, hey, this is really bad in PvE, but if they buff it, then it gets buffed in PvP, where it may already be good in PvP.
Hmm.
So they've got a difficult system there in that regards, as far as kind of trying to distinguish the difference between the two. Keeping PvE separate versus PvP, they just don't have a separate tier for those. It's just like everything is just unanimously edited into the same category. And for one reason or another, it could end up being really good here, but really bad there. There's never really a balance where it's like, okay, this is good.
So Splatoon kind of does away with some of the randomness, which is also something I'd like for them to do for Anthem.
Okay.
So when you have gear, it's all branded because it's all fashion statements and such for Splatoon. And generally,
Yeah.
all gear in any game is technically branded because certain groups use it, certain factions and all that stuff, and you can tell.
Yeah.
So for Splatoon, certain gear will always have a higher chance of proccing different abilities as your second and like your first, second, and third like secondary abilities. So if you know those, then you know what to actually aim for, so you don't have to randomly keep on hitting certain gears. You can just focus on those if those are the stats you want. You can literally just give
Yeah.
stats to stuff that wouldn't go for that, and go to something else.
Okay.
And since Anthem's pretty much set up the same way, like weapons belong to certain groups, and even more that'll be for the through this. Help.
Oh, I can't get through this.
And like what? Oh, that finish? That was quick. I knew this finish, but like that's some of the problems you do get is just like you can't always upgrade every stat. But
Yeah.
I don't know, Splatoon seems to have figured out how to manage that without people being upset. Between them just having it so that gear that would generally have stats, they just release different versions of that gear. It's like, okay, it's just a completely different main ability to, hey, you can just take off those and just add it to whatever you want. It
Yeah.
does work. And they do have their PvP. Like, it's almost entirely PvP.
Okay.
And people just run different sets regardless.
Yeah, that sounds like the way to do it.
But yeah, then they talked about that in the game. They talked about that in the blog, and I was like, okay. I know for a fact you didn't look at this video, but I'm really happy that whatever person's over there has the same mindset. Like, they're looking at it as like, yeah, we can do that. We're going to let you take skills off of other gear and put it on other ones when you do it well enough or level it up.
Nice. I mean, it's something.
Yep. They're going to make it so it's easier to get the gear you want, because no one wants to endlessly grind for, like, gear just to be like, okay, I didn't get what I want. And I know that's also the fear, like, people just stop once they get the stuff they want to get.
Yeah.
But the other fear is, if I never get this, I don't want to play it.
True.
Like, having exclusive gear for, like, certain events is the worst thing ever.
True.
Like, because Destiny doesn't have that, does it? There's nothing in Destiny that you'll never be able to get.
Well, I mean, we have our timed things. Like, if you don't do it within this amount of time, it's gone forever type deal. Like, there's a few exotics that I can't get now because I wasn't part of, like, events or things. But for the most part, the larger pool of things you can always obtain at any time if you just kind of work towards it.
Mm.
But it's not like everything is time limited. A lot of it, just gets recycled into the general pool of loot items, or if an event comes, we have a lot of reoccurring events, you can just get them from there.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just hoping it does well. They seem to be changing stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's a good thing.
Yeah. I think it's a different team technically. Like it's still BioWare, it's just the KOTOR people instead of, or the Old Republic people instead of the Mass Effect Dragon Age people.
Gotcha.
Because I think they're working on Dragon Age now.
Okay.
That's kind of where their energy is at the moment.
That's how they work.
Yeah.
They get distracted and
well, I'm just worried because I like Dragon Age. I like Mass Effect. And I wanted to like Anthem, and it's just like y'all aren't doing your best.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, that's all we can do is wait and see.
So hopefully we'll hear back, but it seems like they're gonna just, when they got something, they'll show it, and if they don't have anything, they're just not gonna talk about it. So it's not everyone's favorite strategy, but it's the strategy they've chosen. And I think it's the same strategy that No Man's Sky did too. Like they just put out updates and they talk about when the update was ready or when they were close to it. Instead of just like keep on talking about like, oh, this is almost here. It's like, nah, just we'll show it when it's ready.
We'll show it when it's ready. Until then, you're just waiting.
Yep. And just understand we haven't left yet. And I don't think even EA can leave at this point because, I mean, this is their only games as a service. They don't have another one. So if they just abandon this one, then all that mind share that you could have with it is just gone.
Yeah.
The biggest problem people are having now is when this new system gets implemented, are we losing everything we've done? Because with such a giant change to loot, it's like, okay, all the previous loot stuff I had, do I really need it? Am I going to have to keep it? Or are you just going to get rid of all of it, and I'm going to have to fully start over? And that's something they don't even know. They're looking into it, but they're like, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's the fear. I think, at a minimum, we should keep all our armor, because that has no stats to it. It's just armor. It's cosmetics. Any cosmetics should stay.
Yeah.
And for any gear we get that gets deleted, just give us basically like the highest level you can of it that you know we had, but just have it have like, I guess, the basic stats so we can just re-roll those and do what we need for it.
Yeah.
And that would be all you could really do. But that's about it on that one. I mean, they talked about new guns, and even in the pictures they showed a new faction of guns, and they already showed a new faction itself. So we're getting space pirates, so we'll see how that goes. But that's about
Space
it.
pirate. That's I guess no matter where you go, there's someone pirating, huh?
I mean, yeah. You ain't gonna escape that.
That's funny. Space pirate. So the wall just blows open? No
I
one
made a
attacks
bomb.
it?
I made a bomb.
Oh, okay. I missed that part.
I see. I was kind of speeding through it, but it's like, yeah, I made a bomb. Shulk made a bomb because he knows how. But yeah, I don't know what else happened besides like everyone. Apparently, EA might buy Warner Brothers for the gaming department for their stuff.
So what does that fall under? Like Injustice?
That would be Mortal Kombat, Batman,
Okay.
Lego games. Yeah, Injustice. Any of that stuff that would be theirs. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
And I'm also like, no. Look at all those Mechon in the background. Look at all that.
I see.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We stood no chance. We stood no chance. Oh yeah. I played Ghost of Tsushima, but you haven't, so there's really no point in me talking about it. So, I will end on that being I played and I finished Act 2.
Sheesh. I saw that you were playing it when I did see you online, so I wasn't surprised to hear this.
Technically, I'm not playing this week. My brother has it.
Oh, okay.
So he's playing it, and I was like, well, Nyx, if he even plays it, probably won't get past Act 2, as far as I have. So I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And as it shows, you did not.
No, but I did say that was a possibility, yes.
Oh yeah, we came to that conclusion. I was like, okay, whatever. There's a state of play tomorrow. I know that.
For
PlayStation.
Okay.
I don't think it's PS5. I believe it's PS4 and PSVR.
Interesting.
We'll see.
So wait, does that mean we're still about to get games for?
I mean, someone's gonna make games.
They're not focusing on the new generation?
No. Bye. Awesome. No.
I mean, I'm cool with that because we did just what just came out.
Ghost
Heard
of
a lot of
Tsushima.
people. Well, I'm referring to the PlayStation Plus, the monthly game.
Oh.
I heard there was a new game that came out. I think it starts with an F. Can't remember. It should be out now. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Alright, do that.
Plus. Fall Guys. That's what it's called.
Oh, was that actually a PlayStation game that came out for PS Plus?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's PlayStation, but my friends have been talking about it because for PlayStation Plus this month it's Fall Guys and Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I knew about the Modern Warfare 2.
But I don't know. I don't know anything
I
about
thought
the
Fall Guys was
games.
a new game that hadn't come out yet.
That's what I'm saying. It's on PlayStation Plus right now for this month.
That's unique. It might be because it's an indie game.
It's possible. But my friends have been talking about it, and they said it was like a knockout type game mixed with that game show where everyone like the obstacle course game show.
Wipeout.
But the wacky one, not Ninja Warrior, but the
Wipeout.
wacky one. Wipeout, yeah, it's like that, but with like a ton of people type deal. And so they've been talking about it, and I guess whenever PlayStation Plus updated, that's when it got on the board as far as being able to play and download. But they seem pretty excited about it. I was wondering if there was any like, do they typically?
No.
Yeah,
well,
I didn't.
how PlayStation Plus works is like those are copies of digital games that Sony literally bought.
Okay.
So that people can have them.
Gotcha.
So they take money that you use for your PlayStation Plus subscription, and then buy that amount of copies, or at least buy a few, like maybe half that amount of copies or so.
Yeah.
And then they just buy whatever they need left over if someone just needs it, or they just keep on upping it as it goes along.
Gotcha.
And that's generally how PlayStation Plus works. And I believe that's how the Xbox Live Gold stuff works too.
Okay.
Which will be gone next gen.
Interesting. So is something replacing it next gen, or
The
that's
idea
just it?
everyone's thinking is like they'll be free. Like Xbox's online will be free next gen, more than likely.
Oh, okay.
Because at this point they're like rebranding the whole service to be like Xbox Live services.
Gotcha.
They're not letting you buy any of the Xbox Live Gold for like a year or like 2 years or 6 months.
Okay.
And so everyone's like, okay, so the next thing to take over would just be like this Game Pass stuff, and online might literally just be free.
Gotcha.
Because you don't have to pay for... If their games are going to go on Steam and everything else, then they're probably thinking, okay, there's no reason for us to have an extra added service to go along with it. Might as well just let it all just be free.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think that was one of the biggest complaints about Microsoft, like back in the day when Netflix was starting their whole online thing, was like you had to pay for Xbox Live Gold, I think,
Yeah.
to have it. And everyone's like, what the crap? Why would I do that?
Yeah. Why would you?
So at that point, it was like, all right, fine. If you don't, then they were like, okay, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Or they were like, okay, we're going to lose money doing that stuff. Or Netflix probably called and was like, stop that. And so they took that off of there and just made it so you got online, you can use the Netflix stuff. Yada, yada, yada. And Steam doesn't require you to pay for online to play their games.
Yeah.
And since Microsoft's games have been going to Steam, it's probably just to unify the whole thing.
Okay.
Mix that in with the fact that Halo is now, its multiplayer will be free to play. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyone who buys an Xbox will just be able to play Halo's online.
Cool.
No? Other than that...
So, about how far do you think we have left in
this
game? Yeah.
Well, we are definitely on the upward part of like the little, you know how like they have, what is it, the rising part, the climax, the resolution whenever they're talking about stories and all that stuff?
Yeah.
We're still on that rising part.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. We haven't hit climax yet. But we're getting close to it though, I want to say.
Okay.
I believe so.
Oh, that's good news.
It's one of the reasons why like you'll see me be like leveled above these a little bit.
Gotcha.
Because I can kind of guess what the boss's level is. Like I think this one's, the next one we're hitting is like 68 or 69.
Gotcha.
So then I can just easily, or not easily, but I'll be able to deal with it without having to restart. So we can get through that part a little bit quicker. Because I know for a fact, it's like the game's not short. It's a long game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you came into this knowing it was not going to be a short game.
Yes.
The only thing that's helping us make it shorter is the fact that I can
The new
play
leveling system.
the leveling system helps out a ton. And, oh, what? I sure am. Maybe. Entirely sure.
Not entirely sure.
That's the leveling system is pretty good this time around. And all the little added things. And I know the game enough, I can get through it pretty well without us having to pause that much. Right now I'm lost like a fool. I made a complete circle. Up here, but no, we're getting there.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
this is the
here
biggest
for it.
section. This is the biggest section in this
Okay.
entire game. Like once we get through all this like Mechonis field and this Mechonis like area,
Yeah.
the game kind of like it hits that climax and it starts like going down. Like it starts
Gotcha.
speeding down that hill, and I'm like, okay, great. It's just
Okay.
that build-up is literally like chapters in.
So when do you think our next cut? How far do you think we are from like the next cutscene? Because we
Hmm.
haven't had one in a while now.
Has it been a while for real?
I don't think we had one last session.
Yeah, we did. We fought the dude. You saw space and you freaked out.
Yeah, but that was like at the beginning of the session.
You still saw space.
But like that was practically 2 hours ago.
Listen.
I'm just saying.
I still need to get on that side. Do I have to go down? Did I not fight you? No, you're a different one. Oh, what are you? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've not fought you. I'll make a note of that.